Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are out after a long-anticipated release, which evidently should have been anticipated for another year, and have been met with great critical and financial success. This is Pokemon unlike it's ever been before, complete with a massive open world to explore, 3 excellent storylines that don't get in each other's way for the first time in Pokemon history, a selection of great new Pokemon to catch, and also Spite Ops, and a cast of characters that easily finds itself in the franchise's top 3. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the most praised characters to come out of these games, the certified yandere and unanimously agreed best rival since Hugh, Nemona. I'm putting a minor spoiler warning here. The timestamp where I talk about the team itself will be in the description. But before that, I'm going to talk about Nemona's character and why I found her final team disappointing. 3, 2, 1, Palafin. Nemona brings a fresh take to the rival character for me, with her already being a champion and raising a new team to accompany the player character on their journey. Throughout the game, I was wondering one thing about her. What was her full strength? After Geeta was defeated, we finally had a chance to see her full power. And she mostly used the team she'd been raising the entire game. And the starter was still a race. I'm not mad about this, but it just feels like a waste of potential, and disservice to her status as champion. I'm not looking for a fight that would surpass Cynthia in difficulty, but I would have liked her to use the team she used to beat Geeta, and more importantly, I would have liked to see the partner she'd gone on her first journey with. It's still a great battle, and the second best endgame battle of the main story, but I feel like her team could have been a bit better. So, I decided to make a better team. The rules I set myself were as follows. I couldn't use legendaries, obviously. I also barred the use of Paradox Pokemon, also for obvious reasons. I had to build a team with the knowledge that an artificial intelligence would be using it, so no stall. I limited myself to one pseudo-legendary, since Nemona uses the worst one, Goodra, on her team. I ended up not using any, but that's probably for the best, because at least 4 team members had to fit with Nemona aesthetically or character-wise. I was pretty loose on this requirement, but I couldn't give her a team that didn't fit her character. Finally, the starter she chose had to be on the team, but not as the terrestrialization candidate. I needed a standard ace across all of her teams, and it had to be a new Pokemon introduced in Generation 9. I felt that having the starter on the team would benefit the fight and help make it feel like Nemona's second journey had an impact on her, especially since Blue and Leon also have starters on their teams. So with that, I searched the Paldea regional decks for a Pokemon that could be Nemona's ace. And I landed on the perfect fit for her that isn't Meowscarada, Palafin, which would hold an expert belt. Not only does Palafin fit her perfectly in my opinion, it's straight up the strongest Pokemon in the Paldea regional decks that isn't a box legendary. The requirement to transform into its hero form isn't hard to meet, and I solved this by also having Palafin be her lead. It would then use Flip Turn if it wasn't facing a Water Absorb or Storm Drain Pokemon, and manually switch out if it couldn't Flip Turn. Then, it would come out last and terrestrialize into the type strong against the player's starter. This terrestrialization is one of the details of this team that I'm most proud of, and I feel like it would make for a nice surprise to unprepared players. This condition shouldn't be too difficult to work into her AI, Sinister Hooded Figure did a similar script with his Norman fight. For Palafin's moveset, I went with the previously mentioned Flip Turn, Jet Punch, Close Combat for overall damage, and Terra Blast so it would always have a stab attack when terrestrialized. With the ace figured out, I turned to building the rest of the team. I knew I needed to integrate the starters into the team, so I looked at an idea that's been done before with other NPCs. Having a Fire, Water, Grass core and replacing one of them with a starter. Most famously, Blue's champion fight will have exactly 2 of Arcanine, Exeggutor, and Gyarados, depending on the starter he has. I scoured the regional decks for Pokemon that could potentially replace the starters when I had the most brilliant idea I ever had when crafting this team. Instead of having a core built around the starters' primary types, I built a core around the starters' secondary types. The secondary types of the Paldean starters are very well designed, with a starter who beats another's primary type losing to their secondary type. This was a missed opportunity in Generation 6, and I'm glad it was capitalized on here. What this means for me is I can have a Dark Ghost fighting core that all cover each other's weaknesses and can be replaced with any of the 3 starters. The movesets Game Freak gave to the starters were all perfect, so I didn't need to change them, so I only needed to find their replacements. The Dark type I chose was Crocodile, and I ended up giving it Earthquake and Crunch, with Stone Edge and Gunk Shock for coverage. I chose Intimidate for the ability, which is certainly the better choice for an AI trainer. This is replaced with Meowscarada if the player chose Fuecoco. For my Ghost type, I initially chose Annihilate, but it didn't fit Nemona and it was also a fighting type, so I switched out for Goldango. I gave it Make It Rain and Shadow Ball for stab, Dazzling Gleam for coverage, and Recover to mirror its replacement, Skeledirge. This is replaced with Skeledirge if the player chose Quaxley. For my fighting type, I went with Lucario. This will be replaced with Quaquaval, if the player chose Sprigatito. Before I explain its moveset, I should talk about the 5th team member, which would be one of Armor Rouge or Ceruledge. I chose them for a slot because they're really, really cool version exclusives that I think deserve to be on an endgame team. As for which one Nemona would use, I decided to give her the version exclusive from the other version of the game. Why? Because it would be a cool surprise. Their moveset, regardless of which one it is, would be their signature move with fighting, psychic, and ghost coverage. Alright, now it's time to talk about Lucario. Lucario can be either a physical or a special attacker, with its special attack stat being slightly higher, but its physical moves having a higher base power. I decided that, unless Quaquaval was on the team, Lucario's moveset would use the type of attacks that the Charcadet evolution wasn't using. So, the Armor Rouge team would use a physical Lucario, and vice versa. For the moves themselves, both of them have the Steadfast ability and a setup move to make them the only setup sweeper Nemona has on her team. Then, the physical set is Close Combat, Meteor Mash, and Earthquake, while the special set is Aura Sphere, Flash Cannon, and Shadow Ball. For the final member of Nemona's team, I added Magnet Pull, Body Press, Magnezone to counter the water weakness I was sensing in the rest of the team and to potentially trap and remove other Steel types. I originally gave this slot to Volcarona, but that adds yet another water weakness. And that's the team. I'm pretty proud of what I did with the team, and I feel like it would make for a difficult, but not impossible challenge that still fit Nemona's character and will allow the player to see her at her full strength. You may have noticed that only one of Nemona's team was holding an item. This is to be more in line with the items that other champions have used over the years. For example, Cynthia's Garchomp having a Citrus Berry. However, I've built another version of the team with all 6 Pokemon having held items and max EVs, as well as optimal natures. So, I'll end this video off by letting you know what this team would be near, but not at, its full potential. Life Orb Jolly Palafin with max attack and speed EVs, expert belts on all the starters with their hidden abilities, Jolly Meowscarada with max attack and speed EVs, Modest Skeledirge with max HP and special attack EVs, Jolly Quaquaval with max attack and speed EVs, Jolly Assault Vest Crocodile with max attack and speed EVs, Modest Citrus Berry Goldenga with max HP and special attack EVs, Focus Sash Lucario with a speed boosting nature and max EVs and speed and either physical or special attack, Modest Leftovers Magnezone with max HP EVs and half max EVs in both defenses, and either a physical or special attack boosting nature with max EVs and HP, and either physical and special attack, and heavy-duty boots for the Charcadet evolution. Maybe this team could be used for the Academy Ace Tournament rematch. Anyway, thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun making this team, and I might do this for more NPCs in the future. Bye!